right, we are going to move on to lesson 9.2, more with quadratic graphs. So quadratics, remember, have a square. They are in the form y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Not all of them are going to have the vertex on the y-axis. So yesterday we would just start at 0 and assume that that was going to be the vertex, and then do 2 numbers to the left and 2 numbers to the right. Well, we can't always do that because sometimes we'll be shifted. So here are the steps for graphing. Step number 1 is you're going to find the x-coordinate of the vertex by doing negative b over 2a. So remember, b is going to be whatever's with just the plain old x, and then a is going to be whatever the coefficient is with the x squared. So when we take negative of b, divide it by 2 times a, we're going to get the x value of our vertex, okay? So you can see here, if I was given the example negative x squared minus 4x minus 2, my a in this case is negative 1, my b is negative 4, and my c is negative 2. So to find the x part of the vertex, I'm going to do a negative of my b, so a negative of a negative 4 turns to positive 4, and then 2 times a. And 2 times a negative 1 is a negative 2. So 4 divided by negative 2 is negative 2. So that's going to be my x-coordinate of my vertex. Now number 2, step 2 is to plug in the x value back into the function to find out the y part of the vertex. So I'm going to take that negative 2 and I'm going to plug it in to this original function wherever there was an x. Okay, so I've got negative of a negative 2 squared minus 4 times a negative 2 minus 2. The negative 2 squared becomes a positive 4, but it gets slapped with this negative again. So we've got a negative 4. Negative 4 times negative 2 is a positive 8. And then we still have this minus 2. So negative 4 plus 8 is 4, minus 2 is 2. So you can see here, I just plopped our vertex into this table. Negative 2 and 2 is our vertex. I'm going to put it in the middle of my xy table, because if you remember from yesterday, we're going to pick 2 numbers to the left, 2 numbers to the right of that vertex. So step 3 is to make a t-chart with the vertex and 2 inputs to the left and 2 to the right. So we've got negative 2 and 2 as our vertex, and then we're going to pick negative 3 and negative 4, and negative 1 and 0. Okay. Step 4 is to plug in all of those x values to find the y values. So we need to plug all of these x's in to that same function that we were using originally in order to find the y's. Now remember the shortcut here. If you're 1 jump away from the vertex, you're going to have the same y. So these ones right here will be the same. If we're 2 jumps away from the vertex, we're also going to have the same y. So I always pick the easier ones. I think 0 is going to be easy to plug in. I think negative 1 is going to be easier than either of these to plug in. So if I get 1 and negative 2, I know that that will be the answers there as well. Okay. Then step 5, I'm going to graph those points. Now you can see my parabola is going upside down here because remember, if it's a negative x squared, it's going to be upside down. So I know I did that correctly. My vertex is at negative 2, 2, so over to negative 2 and up 2. And then I graph the rest of these. Negative 3, 1, negative 3, 1, and negative 1, 1. And then over 0 down to 2, and over to negative 4 down to 2, and connect. And there we have a parabola. If they ask me questions today about anything about this graph, I'll be able to tell them my vertex, remember that was the first thing you found, so negative 2, 2. My axis of symmetry always has to be in an equation form, and it's always going to be x equals. So what x, if I were to draw a line right here, dividing this into 2 equal halves, what would I be going through? It looks like the x I'd be going through is at negative 2. So x equals negative 2. You can also just use that original number that you got, that negative 2 all the way up here in step 1, and put x equals negative 2, and that will be your axis of symmetry. So on a number of the problems today, you're just going to have to say what the vertex is, or just have to say what the axis of symmetry is, and there will be a few that you have to graph.